Hey everyone, welcome back to another awesome project in React Native. So in this project, we'll be building a full stack collage app in React Native using the Expo framework. So if you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's get started. So let's initially look into the demo part of the application. So this application would be mainly focusing on how to implement a collage in React Native using the person's image or their particular gallery, and the rest of the design is basically related to the UI part. So let's look into the initial design. So basically we have a home screen being designed that is pretty simple, and it contains different components, that is the design options, your collage options, your header bar design, as well as the grid layouts. So this is basically where we are going to focus on, and these are the spring stories as well as your birthday card stories. So once the user presses on any kind of grid, that grid would be set as the collage frame. So let's say I'm going to press on the first one. As you can see, this is going to take us to the collage screen or your edit screen, where you're going to create your collage basically. So what happens once you press on the plus button is basically how many ever containers are present, those many number of times you need to add the image. So for example, this is basically going to be a single image collage. So this is basically not called a collage because it is only a single frame, right? So once you press on plus, you should be able to see the image picker being opening up, and once you choose the image, we also are going to provide the aspect ratios that is in the form of a model, so that the user can edit that particular image. So let's press on plus over here. So once you allow the permission, there you go, the image picker is opening up. So you can choose any kind of random images over here. So let's say photos itself, I'm going to choose let's say this one. So as soon as you choose that particular image, a model opens up. We have all of the options, that is free crop, these kinds of aspect ratio. So once you choose any of them, it actually converts it into that particular aspect ratio, right? I'm going to keep it as 1:1 and then press on the tick mark button. So this is chosen and that gets added to the collage. So once you press on download, automatically this would be saved to your users gallery or the devices gallery. So I'm going to press on download over here. So there you go, success, collage is being saved to your gallery. So this was basically a simple example. So let's actually try to build a real collage. Let's say I'm going to choose the second one. So here we need to enter the image 2 times because it is a 2 frame collage. So I'm going to press on the first one and choose a image. Let's say this one itself. I'm going to keep it as default, or let's say 1:1, or let's keep it as default and then choose that. It got added over here. The next one, let's say I'm going to choose is the flower one, this one. I'm going to keep it as default and then I'm going to press on save. Okay, so this is your collage. Let's press on download button. So hopefully this should be downloaded into the user's device. I'm going to press on download. There you go, success, collage is being saved to your gallery. Let's actually verify that. I'm going to come back over here and then go into my photos. So we should be seeing two things. That is the first image, that is a single collage, and the second image that is basically going to contain your 2 images. So there you go, this is the latest images. This is your collage. As you can see, even the clarity is pretty good, and this is your second collage that we just downloaded. Okay, even this, the picture is looking really good. So yeah, we're going to implement this much in this particular application. It is going to be a short small application. We're going to focus on only one thing that I explained, that is how to build a collage based on how many ever number containers or how many ever number images we have. Okay, so if you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's get started with building this project right away. So now the first step is to create a fresh new Expo project. So let's go do that. So currently I've just opened up my VS Code and then I'm inside of my build folder. So here I'm going to just execute the command, that is npx create Expo app, collage app, and then -- template and then blank TypeScript. Let's press on enter. So as you can see, it is creating an Expo project using the blank TypeScript template. Let's give this a couple of minutes to initialize our project for us. After that, we're going to check out the project structure. So there you go, it says your project is ready, and to run your project you need to go into that particular project directory, and these are the commands for iOS, Android, as well as the web. So I'm going to press on file, open folder, and then I'm going to go into my build folder and then the first project. Okay, so this is basically the initial folder structure or the file structure that is present towards the left hand side. That is Expo has given us once when we initialize a fresh new Expo project. So within your TS config, I'm just going to add in my module resolution and then set it to be node. So basically this error goes off. Save. Okay, so this is the main app.tsx. So basically inside of the return block, we just have a text which says open up app.tsx to start working on your app. So the first step is let's try to run our application so that we could see something onto the screen that is towards the simulator. I'm going to say terminal, new terminal, and I'm just going to say npx expo start, and let's press on enter. So as you can see, it has given us a bunch of options to to see the applications, as well as these are for debugger, reload, and then toggle menu. So we have three options to open on Android or on an iOS simulator or on the web. So since we are using an iOS simulator, just press on A, not AI. If you are on the Android, press on A. So I'm going to press on I over here. So once the app loads, it should basically show whatever is there within your main return block, that is basically this text. So this should come towards the center part of the screen. So yeah, let's wait for the app to load. It's currently bundling all of the required code. Okay, it successfully opened the app and we're able to see the output which says open up app.tsx to start working on your app. So yeah, this part is done. So now the next step is we are basically going to check out the design that we're going to build. So we basically have three simple parts. That is the home screen where we have all of the designs being shown, and we're going to work on the grid part, that is for collaging different kind of images. And this is the collage screen. So based on whatever option you choose over here, it gets converted into that particular structure. And this is basically your editing. Okay, so let's get started by initializing the navigation part, or before that I'm going to create a bunch of folders that are required to build this project up. So I'm going to say app, press on app.tsx, a new folder. I'm going to say screens, then one is for your components. Furthermore, we're going to have it for your constants. I'm going to say constants. Apart from that, we're going to have it for your types. Again, a new folder. We are also going to have it for your navigation. So I'm going to say navigation. So apart from navigation, we're going to have it for the utils as well. I'm going to say utils. So these are the main required things as of now. So let's get started with the navigation part. We're going to start styling out your app navigator.tsx. I'm going to say new file. I'm going to say app navigator.tsx. So here basically let's install all of the required dependencies that are required for your React navigation. Head over to Chrome and then search for React navigation. Let's head over to the first link, press on redocs, and let's try to install with the help of yarn. Copy this down, open up a new terminal, and then just paste the code over here. Furthermore, we need to install these two things, that is React Native screens as well as your React Native safe area context. So since we are in a Expo managed project, we're gonna copy this piece of code. So yeah, this is still installing. Let's wait for this to complete. Let's press on enter. That is for the second piece of code. So once that is done, let's move on to hello React navigation, and then let's install the native stack. Enter. Let's also install your bottom tabs as well. So just search for React Native bottom tabs. Let's go on to the first one, and then yeah, with the help of yarn, copy that code, and then we're gonna paste it over here. So that's pretty much it. Let's get started with the design of the app navigator. Basically three things: home, plus, as well as the my works. So basically in this project we're going to focus on the collage part. Other things are going to be for the UI or the design part. So initially let's say const tab is going to be equals to create bottom tab navigator. Import that correctly from the required dependencies. Okay, so const stack is going to be equals to create native stack navigator. Here I'm going to define my home stack. Here I'm going to say const home stack is going to be equals to a normal arrow function. Here I'm going to say stack dot your navigator. Within that, we're going to have your first stack.screen. So this in turn is going to have your name. So first of all, let's create the screens that are required. Press on screens, new file. I'm going to say home screen.tsx, rnfes to get the Sujan code snippet. Save the file. Apart from that, we're going to have collage screen. So collage screen.tsx, rnfes. The next one is going to be for your template preview screen. I don't think we are going to use this, but yeah, let's create it. Let's come back to home screen, not home screen, your app navigator tsx. Here let's pass in our first name. So I'm going to say home, main, then component is going to be equals to home screen. Import that from the screens folder, and again we're going to say options, header shown is going to be equals to false. So here I'm going to say header shown as false. Copy this down. 2 more times. Here we are going to say collage. Component is going to be collage screen. Okay, so this is going to be there for your template preview. I'm going to say template preview. This is going to have template preview as the name for the screen. So I'm going to say template preview. Option is going to be header shown as false. Let's format once. Save. So now let's initialize the app navigator. Here I'm going to say export default function app navigator. Here we're going to say return your tabs. So it's basically going to be tab.navigator. Within that, we're going to have the first tab.screen. Okay, so it's going to be home. So I'm going to say home over here. And component is going to be your main stack. That is the home stack. Basically, whatever we defined just a minute ago. That is this one. Not home screen, home stack. This one. And we're going to provide in the options for this. Let's format once. So here I'm going to say options. I'm going to say tab bar icon. This in turn is going to take in a prop known as focused. Here we're going to show tab bar icon. We need to define this in just a bit. So tab bar icon. So name is going to be equals to home outline. Furthermore, focused is going to be equals to focused. And apart from tab bar icon, we're going to have tab bar label. That is going to be equals to home. And header shown is going to be equals to false. Let's define the tab bar icon over here at the top. I'm going to say const tab bar icon is going to be equals to, this in turn is going to take in name, focused is plus. So is plus is for this particular plus button. So here we are going to say name is going to be of type string, focused boolean is plus also a boolean. So So here basically we're going to return a view. So I'm going to say view. In this view, we're going to have your iron icons being shown. So I'm just going to paste in the code for that. So we need to import iron icons. Let's do that over here. So I'm going to say import iron icons from @expo /vector icons. Okay, that's it. Let's try to format once. And we also need to import the view as well. So let's import view from React Native. So that's it. Let's try to save the file. So let's implement this some more times. That is for the remaining two things. So it's gonna have a create. So we need a create screen. I'm gonna say screens, new file, create screen.tsx, rnfes to get the Sujan code snippet. So let's make the change for the component. It's gonna be equals to create screen. Save. So the next one is going to be for your my works, that is your edit screen. So I'm going to say edit screen.tsx rnfes to get the Sujan code snippet and then save. So here I'm going to say my works. The component is going to be edit screen. So the name is going to be folder outline for the icon. So I'm going to say folder outline, and for the first one is going to be, for the second one is going to be equals to add. And for second one there is no tab bar label. We're going to remove that as well as header shown as false. So for tab.navigator we're going to provide a bunch of options. So here we're going to say screen options. It's basically going to be tab bar style. It's going to be equals to styles dot your tab bar. Then we're going to say tab bar label or tab bar show label is going to be true, and we're going to say tab bar label style. It is going to be equals to styles dot your tab bar label. So we need to import your style sheet from React Native. Here I'm going to say style sheet. So let's define the styles over here. So here I'm going to say const styles is going to be equals to your style sheet dot create method. Here for your tab bar, you're going to have a height of let's say 70, then a BG color of FFF, border top width of 0, then we're going to have elevation of 0, not 0, my bad, 8. Then we're going to have shadow opacity of 0.1, then shadow radius of 4. We're going to have shadow offset as well. So shadow offset, it's going to have a width of 0 and then a height of -2. Apart from that, we're going to have a padding bottom of 5. Okay, apart from this, icon container, we're going to have align items of center, justify content of center as well. I think we haven't passed this one. So this should basically come to the view. That is where we have the icon, this one. So style is going to be equals to an array of styles. So styles dot icon container. So if is plus is true, and it's going to be styles dot plus icon container. Okay, so let's come back over here. So below your icon container, we're going to have plus icon container. So here you're going to give it a specific width, that is for your plus icon. So it's going to be width of 50 and then a height of 50. Then BG color of this color code, that is FF 5A 5F. Then we're going to have justify content of center as well as align items of center. We're also going to have a margin top of -20. Then furthermore, it's going to be for tab bar label. Font size is going to be of 12. Margin bottom is going to be of 5. And your color is going to be of this color code 8E, 8E and then 93. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's try to save the file. Okay, so currently it is erroring out for your tab bar icon. So if you just hover over it, it says, I think it's probably for the is plus. So it says property is plus is missing in the type because we have mentioned it over here. Okay, so that is basically an optional type. So I'm just going to give it a question mark and that error should be gone. Okay, so let's try to save the file. Let's try to run the application by including this particular navigator. So within your app.tsx, let's make the change. Here I'm going to remove everything and I'm going to say navigation container, import that from your React navigation /native. Here I'm going to say app navigator. Let's try to reload the app. I'm going to press on I. So hopefully if we have done everything correctly, we should be able to see the 3 tabs being shown, that is plus, home as well as my works. Let's give this a try. So there you go, we're able to see something on the screen, but this part is not looking that good. So probably we need to make some changes. So let's look into that part. So inside of your app navigator, I think this is corresponding to your plus icon container. Yeah, I think I forgot to pass in the variable. That is a prop over here. We need to pass in is plus, then only it's going to work. Save. Okay, so I think we forgot to give the border radius. It should be 25. Yeah, so there you go. That's looking perfect. So yeah, we have designed our screen. I think we could remove the create, that is for tab bar label. Or you can just add a blank value as well. Even that should work, I guess. Let's give that a try. Yeah, it's working. So yeah, this is basically your initial step. So we could get started with your home screen. So basically we have set up the bottom tab navigator with all of the required tabs as shown in the design over here. So we could head over to your home screen.tsx and then we could start designing all the other things that are there, starting from your search bar as well as all of these details. So initially I'm going to make use of my safe area view. So I'm going to say safe area view, copy that down, and we're going to make use of safe area view instead of the normal view that's present. So this is going to have container as a style. So style is going to be equals to styles dot container. Within that we're going to have your scroll view. I'm going to say scroll view. Below the scroll view we're going to have the top navigation part. I'm going to have a view being initialized. Within the view we're going to have your touchable opacity. Within that we're going to have your iron icons. Let's get that from the previous screen, probably from this one. So the name is going to be equals to your settings outline. So size is going to be equals to, let's say 20 or 24, and your color is going to be equals to 000. Save. So as you can see, we're able to see that icon being shown onto the screen. I'm going to have my next design being shown, that is basically your search design. Just below your touchable opacity we're going to have a view. Below that we're going to have again your iron icons. Copy that down. This is going to say search outline. So here I'm going to say search outline. Size is going to remain same, or we could keep it to be 20. Color is going to be 888. Okay, so towards the right side we're going to have the text input being shown. So I'm going to say text input from React Native. Placeholder is going to say birthday or search birthday, love, sale, and then the 3 dots. Okay, yes, we are able to see that onto the screen. We're going to have the style for this. I'm going to say style is going to be equals to your styles dot. It's going to be search container. This is going to be search input. So search input. Here I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot your search container. For the icons, it's going to be search icon. So I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles.search icon. Let's format once. So yeah, below the view we're going to have your touchable opacity. That's the rightmost icon. Let's just add in this one. This is going to have your storefront outline icon. So I'm going to say storefront outline, save. There you go. We have that design being shown. This is going to say style is going to be equals to styles.shop icon. This is going to say styles.setting icon. So style is going to be equals to styles.settings icon. This is going to say top nav. So this is basically going to say your top nav. So styles.top nav. Let's start designing all of this. So let's come down and then let's start giving the style. So here I'm going to say flex, my bad, initially container. It's going to have a flex of 1, BG of white. As you can see, that got applied. Then we're going to have top nav. We're going to give it a flex of row. So flex direction row, align items of center. Then we're going to have padding horizontal of 16, padding vertical of 12. Okay, as you can see, that's looking nice. Settings icon, let's write correctly, settings icon. So this is basically going to have your margin right of 6. Okay, that got applied. Then for your search container, let's give the style. This is basically going to have a flex of 1, so it takes up the majority of the space. Flex of row, because for 2 of the things it should come into a row fashion. Then align items of center. Yeah, after this we're going to say background color of F0, 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 border radius of let's say 20, padding horizontal of 12. Okay, so that's looking fine. Let's give it for the search icon. I think we need to increase the padding for the text input. So for search icon, margin right of 10 or 8. So for search input, let's give the style. I'm going to say search input. Here we could give your padding or basically height value as well. So I'm going to say flex of 1 and a specific height of 40. There you go. That's looking nice. Okay, so I think this should come within the view. My bad, let's add it over here. Save. The next one is for your search input. Search input is done. After this, it's for the shop icon. So I'm going to say shop icon, margin left of 8. So for search input, let's also add in 2 more things. Font size of 16 and a color of 333. Yeah, that's looking nice. Let's format once. So after that, we're going to have the next part of the designs coming in. That is basically for your top navigation icons. Let's design that too below your view. Here I'm going to say view. We're going to have top nav icon. the name is going to be Sparkles Outline. Label is going to be AI Tools. I'm just going to copy this down a couple of times and then make the change for the remaining ones. I'm going to say cut outline, then grid outline, happy outline. This is going to say happy outline, then the color palette outline. I'm going to say color palette outline. So now we need to define the top nav icon. Let's do that at the top over here. I'm going to say const top nav icon. Is gonna take in a bunch of values, that is the name, label. So name is going to be of type string, label is going to be of type string as well, and we're going to return a touchable opacity. Within that we're going to have your view, within that we're going to have your icons. Let's add that over here. So name is going to be name, your size is going to remain 24, color is going to remain FFF. Okay, so that's it. So let's format once. Below that we're going to have the text as well below the view. So I'm going to say text over here. This is going to say label. So for touchable opacity it's going to say nav item, top nav item. So style is going to be equals to styles dot top nav item. For this I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot top nav icon container, and for this it's going to be equals to top nav label. So styles dot top nav label. Okay, so yeah, let's get started with designing all of these things. So for the view, let's provide in the style that is going to be equals to your top nav icons. Okay, let's start designing the top nav icons. So for top nav icons, we're going to have basically the flex given. I'm going to say flex direction of row, and then justify content of space between, or you can give space around as well. Padding vertical of 12, and then padding horizontal of 8. Okay, so as you can see it's looking fine. So apart from that we're going to target the top nav item. Align items of center, so it's centrally aligned. Then your top nav icon container, this in turn is going to have a specific width of 50, height of 50, border radius of 25, BG color of this color code, that is FF5 and then A5F, and we're going to give justify content of center as well as align items of center. So there you go, that's looking cool, and we are able to see all of the required icons as well. So apart from that, the next one is for the top nav label. So I'm going to say top nav label. So this is going to have basically some margin top. I'm going to say margin top of 6. Okay, then I'm going to give it font size of 12, color of 333, then we're going to give it font weight of 500. Save. There you go, it's looking perfectly fine, and the design is looking pretty good as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This part is done. Let's move on to the next part. That is where we have different kinds of icons present. That is your design options. So for that, basically we need to, design our layout or, implement our layouts. For that, we need to create a file. So I'm going to create a new file known as layouts.ts. I'm going to say constants is already created. Here I'm going to say layouts.ts. Here we're going to include all of the layouts that is for our application. So before that, we also need to, implement the types, which is going to have your grid layout, your template, as well as the design options. Let's implement that first. So within your types, I'm going to say index.ts. Here we're going to say export type grid layout. I'm going to say id string. Name is going to be of type string. Shape, that is optional. It can be a rect or a heart or basically a clover or a hexagon. So rows is going to be of type number, calls number as well. Furthermore, layout. So I'm going to say layout is going to be of type number. Here I'm going to say export type template is the next part. ID is going to be of type string. I don't think we're going to use this basically, so let's write it down anyways. Then image is going to be of type string. Finally, your placeholders. X-axis is going to be of number. Then Y number. Your width is also going to be of type number, as well as the height. The final one is going to be there for your design option. I'm going to say export export type design option is going to be equals to id string, name string, icon string. This part is done. Let's come back to your layouts and then let's import the required things. That is your grid layout, template, as well as the design option. I'm going to say import grid layout, template, as well as your design options. Here I'm going to say export const. These are all of the grid layouts that we're going to use of type grid layout equals to an array of objects. We're going to have id. We're going to say grid 10. Name is going to be 1x1. Then we're going to have shape, that is of rectangle. Then rows is going to be 1. Calls is going to be 1. Layout is going to look something like this. So similarly, I'm going to paste in all of the layouts that we're going to use. So you can basically take a look at this. So these are all the layouts that we're going to use. Okay. So I'm going to, again scroll from the starting point. You can copy down all of the layouts. Okay, so this part is done. So you can make a note out of all of these. So next one, we're gonna show the templates part. So that is basically for all of these designs, that is spring story, happy birthday cards, something like that. Okay, so here I'm gonna say export const templates, which is of type template. It's again gonna be an array of objects. Your id is gonna be template1. Let's say name is going to be spring story. So spring story 1 image. You can add in the own image. You can basically get it from Canva and your placeholders. Okay, so this is going to be the template type. I'm going to paste in the code for both of them. That is, one is for your birthday cards and one is for your spring stories. Okay, so you can basically check out the Canva templates and then you can get some of them, or you can actually take this link itself and you can use it. So let's try to save the file. Okay, so I think there is a couple of issues for this one. Okay, so it says type circle is not assignable to type that one because there is no circle being initialized. Let's add the value to our types index.ts. Save, so that error should be gone. So basically the next issue is this one placeholder. So it says type this value is missing the following properties from X. Okay, I think I forgot to add the array part. That is, we need to add in over here. Okay, that's it. Save. So yes, we have designed all of the required templates. You can take a note of this right from this part. I'm going to scroll down slowly. So yeah, below this we're going to have the final part, that is basically your design options. So here I'm going to say export const design underscore options, that is of type design option, is going to be equals to an array of objects. ID is going to be equals to design1. Name is going to be equals to, let's say, collage. Your icon is going to be equals to grid outline. Let's format this once and then I'm going to copy this down a couple of times. So this is going to be design2, design3, design3 as well as design4. Okay, so name is going to be collage, this is going to be design, and this is going to be customize. So I'm going to say customize, and this is going to be your Instagram post. So basically this is with respect to all of these designs. Okay, so here I'm going to say Instagram post. So the next one is going to be design 5. It's going to be Instagram story. We need to change the icon name. So shapes. This is brush outline. This is logo Instagram. The same thing for the next one as well. So this is going to be design 6. And finally the design 7. So after Instagram story, it's going to be equals to your logo. So I'm going to say logo over here. This is going to say ribbon outline. Here I'm going to say design 7. Name is going to be equals to your face. PR. Icon is going to be equals to person outline. Okay, I'm going to say person outline. Save. So yeah, this part is done. We have designed all of the required layouts. So with the help of this, we're going to start and design your complete home screen. That is from this point. That is all of the design options. So let's come back to the home screen and then let's get started with the design of the design options. That is going to happen right below the view. So over here below the view, I'm going to initialize my another view, that is for your design options. So this is basically going to have your flat list, and we're going to pass in the data. That is going to be your design options. Import that from constants and then layouts. So this in turn is going to take in your render item, which in turn is going to take in your item, and over here we're going to render a component known as design option item. So I'm going to say design option item. Okay, so here we're going to say item is going to be equals to item. Then we're going to say on press is going to be equals to taking a function, and we're going to say handle design option select. So handle design option select of your item. Okay, so yeah, below this we're gonna have your other details being passed. Let's format once. Basically your key extractor value, so this in turn is going to take in your item, and here it's going to be equals to item.id. okay, so furthermore I'm going to say show horizontal scroll indicator, and we're going to set it to be false. Okay, then I'm going to say content container style, that's going to be equals to styles.list container. Okay, so styles.list container. Now let's define the design option item. So at the top over here I'm going to say const design option item is going to be equals to a normal arrow function. It's going to take in basically your item as well as your on press. Item is going to be of type design option, so this design option is basically going to come from your types. So import that. Let's actually check out the types once. Yeah, so as you can see we have exported over here. Let's try to import it manually. Here I'm going to say import grid layout, then your template as well as your design option from your types. Okay, and your on press is going to be of type void. I'm going to say on press void over here, and here basically I'm going to return a touchable opacity. So here we're going to show your iron icons. I'm just going to get that over here. So it's going to be equals to item dot your icon. As you can see we got that suggestion, and size is going to be equals to 24, and your color is going to be equals to 888. Below that the item dot name, I'm going to say text. This in turn is going to show your item dot your name. Save. So there you go, we do have all of the required things, that is collage, design, customize, Instagram post, Instagram story. Okay, based on all of these things, I think there is some issue with these two icons, so let's look into that. Okay, so let's pass on the style for this. So here I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot design option item, and for your text it's going to be equals to design option label. So style is going to be equals to styles dot design option label. Let's look into the icon once. For some reason it's not showing the correct value. So layout, so logo outline is not a valid one. So let me just check the spelling once, like if at all it's the correct one or it's something else. Okay, it's my bad, it's logo Instagram. So I'm going to say logo Instagram. Same thing for this as well. Save. As you can see that's looking fine. Let's try to save the file, and let's look into the styling part. Let's provide it over here initially for the view. So this in turn is basically going to have your styles dot section. So here I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot section. Let's get started with designing the section design. Here I'm going to say section. Alright, so this is basically going to have margin vertical of 20. Save. As you can see that got applied. Furthermore, your design option item, this is going to have align items of center as well as a margin right of 20. Okay, that's looking okay. Furthermore, design option label, so I'm going to say design option label, it's going to have a margin top value. So I'm going to say margin top of, let's say, 6, a slightly smaller font size of 12, and then color of 666. Okay, so as you can see, that's looking fine. So now we need to target your main container. I guess I think I forgot to add the style for your list container. So it's basically going to have padding horizontal, and we also need to give the okay, so style is given for that. So let's pass on the style for this one. I'm going to say list container. This in turn is going to have your padding horizontal of 16. Save. And here I just want it to be in a horizontal fashion. I'm just going to say horizontal over here. Okay, so just like that, as you can see, it's looking really good, and it is looking according to this. And you can scroll through this as well. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it about your second part of the design, that is your design options. Let's move further. That is going to be your grid section, that is to design that part. So just below your view, I'm going to have my another view being initialized. Within that, we're going to have another view. We're going to have a text which says grid. Below the text, we're going to have a touchable opacity. Within that, we're going to have a text which says see all. Okay, so furthermore, below that view, we're going to have below that view, below this view, we're going to have a touchable opacity. Not a touchable opacity, basically a flat list to show all of the required designs. This is going to have the data now. So the data has already been designed previously. So it's going to be grid underscore layouts. Import that from constants layouts, and then render item. This in turn is going to take in your item. Okay, so we're going to render a component known as grid item. Pass in the value, that is item is going to be equals to item. On press is going to be equals to basically handle grid select of item. I'm going to say handle grid select of your item. Let's pass in your key extractor value. This is basically gonna take in your item, and here we are gonna say item.id. And this also I want it to be in a horizontal fashion, so just provide the prop that is horizontal, and below this I'm going to say show horizontal scroll indicator, set it to be false, and content container style is going to be equals to styles.list container. This is already designed in the previous one. So for the view, let's provide in the style, so it's going to be equals to styles dot again section. For the inner view, it's going to be equals to section header, so style is going to be equals to styles dot section header. The text is going to be equals to section title. Style is going to be equals to your styles dot section title. And for the touchable opacity, there is no style. Here it's going to be see all. Style is going to be equals to styles dot see all. Let's format. So let's basically try to create a new component that is known as grid item. I'm going to say grid item.tsx rnfes together should run code snippet. Save the file. Just try to auto import this. Okay, so if I would save the file, I think probably we need to also implement this. Okay, yeah, we didn't get any error. Yeah, so as you can see, we are able to see all of the grid items. So accordingly, we need to start styling it out so it looks something like this, right? Let's get back to your component, that is grid item.tsx. So this in turn is gonna take in a couple of values, that is item, your on press. So basically your item is going to be of type grid layout. Import that from types, and on press is going to be of, let's say, void. Okay, this part is done, and here I'm going to implement a function known as render shape. I'm going to say const render shape is going to be equals to a normal arrow function. We're basically going to make use of the switch case based on the item dot shape. As you can see, as soon as I typed item, we are getting all of these suggestions. So based on the item dot shape, we're going to show this. So I'm going to say case heart include that, and here we're going to say return a view that is self-enclosing. So your style is going to be equals to an array of styles, so it's going to be equals to styles dot grid cell, and it's going to have styles dot your heart shape. Okay, so after heart we're going to have the next case, that is going to be case circle. So I'm going to say case circle. This in turn is going to say return again a self-enclosing view. So basically your key is going to be equals to j, or yeah, let's remove this, we're going to map over it basically. So here I'm going to say return item dot access the layout of the first one dot map for the each value as well as your index, that is j. I'm going to render a self-enclosing view. This in turn is going to have a key, that is j, and then style is going to be equals to an array of styles, that is styles dot your grid cell, and finally your styles dot circle shape. So yeah, this part is done. Let's format once. Let's move on to the next case. So I'm going to say case clover. So here I'm going to say return a view, and let's just copy down the style and then make the change. So it's going to be styles dot grid cell as well as styles dot hexagon shape. I mean not hexagon shape, clover shape. So I'm going to say clover shape. The final one is going to be there for your hexagon. So here I'm going to say case hexagon. Here again I'm going to say return. So return item dot layout of the first one dot again map over it similarly as we had done previously, taking the index, and over here again we are going to show the view. So it's going to remain similar to this one. So initialize that again and then paste it over here. Okay, so key is going to be j. Your style is going to be equals to styles dot grid cell. This is going to be equals to hexagon shape. So I'm going to say hexagon shape. So we need to give the default design for this. If at all it is not matching this, it's going to go into the default condition. So I'm going to say default. I'm going to say return item dot layout dot map for every row as well as your index. We're going to return a view. Within this view I'm going to say access the row dot map. Again we are going to map over the cell, calculate your index as well, and we're going to return basically another view over here. This view in turn is going to have a key that is going to be equals to j, not j, it's going to be equals to, yeah, let's get in actually j instead of I. And for this the top one key is going to be equals to I, and your style is going to be equals to styles dot your grid row. So for this let's pass in the style. So style is basically going to be equals to your styles dot grid cell as well as the flex, add in this particular statement. Okay, so yeah, let's try to save the file. So now let's start giving the styling for all of this. So before that we need to implement the render shape function. So instead of view I'm going to have my touchable opacity. So I'm going to say touchable opacity. Here I'm going to have a view. This view in turn is going to show the render shape. Here I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot your grid preview. Okay, so let's get started with passing all of the styles over here. So that is going to come for your touchable opacity. So style is going to be equals to styles dot grid item. So yeah, let's scroll down and then let's try to enter the style for this. So here I'm gonna say grid item. So basically we're gonna have a margin right value of 12, save, and we're gonna have your grid preview. Okay, so it's gonna have a width of 80 and then a height of 80 as well. Justify content of center as well as the align items of center. Okay, so grid preview is given, I guess. Yeah, we have given the style for that. The next thing is for your grid row as well as the grid cell. So I'm going to say grid row. So once we give the flex, it's going to show up onto the screen, flex of 1 and then a flex direction of a row. The next one is for your grid cell. Okay, so again flex of 1, then border width of 1 as well. So border width 1. Furthermore, your border color of E0, E0, E0 as well as the PG color of F9, F9, F9. Save. So there you go. We're able to see something onto the screen, which is good, and it is completely scrollable as well, according to this one. Let's format once. So the next one is for different shapes that we have. That is heart shape, circle shape, as well as the clover shape. So I'm going to say heart shape over here. So heart shape is going to have a width of 60 and then a height of 60 as well. It's going to have a BG color of this color code, that is F9, F9, F9. A border radius of let's say 30. It's going to have a transform value wherein we're going to pass in your rotate degree as well. So rotate, this value is going to take in the degree. I'm going to say 45 degree. And your position is going to be relative. So I'm going to say position relative. Apart from that, it's going to have an overflow of hidden. Save. Let's format once. Yeah, we just need to provide it for two more things, that is circle shape, clover shape, as well as the hexagon shape. Let's try to save. So I'm going to pass in the styles for that. You can take a look at it. That is for your clover shape, hexagon shape, as well as the circle shape. So you can check it out right from over here. And let's try to save the file. As you can see, just like that, we are able to see all of the designs being shown just like this. Okay, that's pretty much it. Just need to start styling out these two things. That is going to happen inside of the home screen. That is for your section header, your section title, as well as the see all. Let's do that. So let's scroll down over here. I'm going to say section. So I'm going to say section header. This in turn is going to have a flex direction of row. Align items. Okay, yeah, this is not required. Justify content of space between, because we wanted to push towards the rightmost part, that is the see all text, right? Align with center. Yeah, let's add this now. And then your padding horizontal. So padding horizontal of 16 as well as a margin bottom of 12. Save. As you can see, that's looking good. Okay, so furthermore, the next one is going to be for your section title. So I'm going to say section title. So here we're going to have font size of 22 and we're going to give it font weight of bold, and I'm going to give it a color of 333. So I'm going to say color 333. Save. There you go. That's looking fine. The next one is for your see all. Let's finish styling that as well. A smaller font size of let's say 14. It's going to have a color of this color code, that is the red shade we are going to use for the application, FF 5A as well as 5F. Apart from this, you're going to have a font weight as well of 600. So there you go. This part is completely done. So we are done with your grid designing sections. So now the next step we're going to focus on is your Spring stories or the template section. That's going to come over here right below your view. Here I'm going to say view. This in turn is going to have another view. So the design is going to remain pretty much similar to the top one. This is going to say Spring story. Below that, we're going to have a touchable opacity which says see all. Let's pass on the style. So style is going to be equals to your styles.section. This is going to be section header. So style is going to be equals to styles.your section header. So for Spring, it's going to be equals to section title. So style is going to be equals to styles.section title. For touchable opacity, there is nothing going to be present. For see all, it is going to remain as is. Save. There you go. That is looking pretty clean. Now let's start designing your templates part. Okay. So again, similarly, we're going to make use of the flat list. Just initialize that below your view and make the change for the data and all the other things. So in this case, it's going to be equals to templates. So I'm going to say templates. Get that from your constants as well as layouts. And here horizontal, that's going to remain as is. Key extractor is going to remain as is. And show horizontal scroll indicator is going to remain same thing. This also is going to remain same. Just change this one. This is going to be equals to your template item. Okay, item is going to be equals to item. On press is going to be equals to your handle template select. So I'm going to say handle template select. Save. Template item doesn't exist. Yeah, so we need to define that. Let's do that now. So let's start designing the template item over here itself, or you can create a new component and then you can import that as well. So I'm going to say const template item is going to be equals to, it's going to take in basically your item as well as your on press. So I'm going to say item and on press. Item is going to be of type template and your on press is going to be again a void. Here we're going to return a touchable opacity. Basically it's going to have a view. This view in turn is going to have your image that you had entered in the other file, that's the constants or layouts.ts. So it's going to take in a source. Let's import image from React Native. Source URI, this is basically going to be item.image, and we're going to have your style. So style is going to be equals to your styles.template image. Okay, and we're going to pass in your resize mode of, not resize method, resize mode, it's going to be cover. Let's add in that value. Yeah, so basically below the image we're going to have your badge design. I'm going to have a view for that. So I'm going to say view. This view in turn is going to have a text which says free, and below the view we're going to have your text that is going to show the name. I'm going to say item.name. Save. So there you go. We do have a free Spring Story 1, Spring Story 2 as well as Spring Story 3. So for the touchable opacity, it's going to be template item. I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot, let's write that correctly, template item. For the inner view, it's going to be equals to, okay, I think I forgot to add a view that is going to come over here. Okay, it's there. Okay, my bad. This is the one. So style is going to be equals to your styles dot or template preview. And for the image, I think it's already added. For the inner view, it's going to be equals to free badge. So style is going to be equals to styles dot free badge, and for the text, it's going to be equals to free badge text. So style is going to be equals to styles dot free badge text. For this one, I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot your template name. Let's start designing all of them, starting off from your template item. So scroll down, and over here I'm going to say template item. This is basically going to have some margin right value, so margin right of 12. For the template preview, here I'm going to give it a width of 120 and then a height of 200, border radius of let's say 12, and justify content of center, as well as align items of center as well. So align items of center, save. As you can see, the design is looking pretty good. Let's make it look even more better. After that, shadow color is going to be equals to 000. Then your shadow offset value, it's going to have a width of 0 as well as a height of 2. So I'm going to say height as 2. And then shadow opacity of 0.1. Then we're going to have shadow radius of 4, elevation of 3, then a position of relative. Save. Okay, no more changes. Now we need to target the image so it comes onto the screen. So template image. This in turn is going to have a width of 120, height of 200, and a border radius of 12. There you go. Just like that, it is looking really clean. So now we need to start styling out the badge part or your template name. Let's start styling out the free badge. I'm going to say free badge. This is going to have your position of absolute. So I'm going to say position absolute, a top value of 8, and then left of 8 as well. Then we're going to have a BG color, so background color of 000. Then a border radius of, let's say, 4. Then padding horizontal of 6, and then padding vertical of 2. So padding vertical 2. Save the file. There you go. Just like that, it's looking cool. So we need to start styling out the free badge text so that it comes in a white color basically. So I'm going to say free badge text. For this, I'm going to give it a font size of, let's say, 10. Okay. Then I'm going to give it a color of white. Then I'm going to give it a font weight of bold. Save the file. So there you go. It's looking pretty clean. So now the next step is we need to start styling out the template name. So I'm going to say template name. Position is absolute. Furthermore, bottom of 8. Then we're going to give it font size of, let's say, 12. Color is going to be 333. Apart from that, font weight of 500. Text align of center. Then we're going to give it a width of 100%. So I'm going to say width 100%. Then we're going to give it a padding vertical of 2. So padding vertical 2, and it's going to have a background color by making use of the RGBA. So I'm going to say RGBA of 255, 255, 255 as well as a 0.8. Save. As you can see, just like that, our design is looking pretty clean. So we are basically done with this part. That is your next part of the section, that is your spring stories. Let's move on to the next one, that is the final one, that is the birthday sections or the templates for birthday card sections. So below your view, I'm going to have the same view basically. It's going to remain the same. So here, let's make the change for the texts over here. I'm going to say happy birthday card. Save. So here it's going to remain as a see all. So here it's going to be equals to birthday templates. Apart from that, everything is going to remain as is. Import birthday templates from constants and then layouts. So as soon as I save the file, we should be able to see the change. There you go. Just like that, we're able to see the birthday cards being shown. Okay, that's pretty much it. So we are basically done with the entire design of your home screen. So once if they press on any kind of grid, we should be entering the collage screen where we are gonna show that particular collage that the user has selected. And once they select both of the images, we should be able to make a collage and then be able to download that particular image to the gallery of the user. That's going to be the next step. So that's basically going to happen within your griditem.tsx. That is, once we press on the touchable opacity, we need to give a on press over here such that we are going to navigate to the next screen. So before that, we need to also define the function that is handle grid select. So that's going to be the next step. Let's look into that now. So let's initially define the function that is handle grid select. Let's say over here, so I'm going to say const handle grid select is going to be equals to, it's going to take in the grid, and it's going to have a type of grid layout. And here we are just going to say navigation. Let's initialize that first. So const navigation is going to be equals to use navigation. Import use navigation from React navigation. So here we are going to say navigation dot navigate to the name of the screen, that is going to be equals to collage. And we're going to pass in your selected grid. So selected grid is going to be equals to your grid. Okay, let's format once and then let's try to save the file. Let's verify if we have given the name correctly for your collage screen. So there you go, we do have the collage. So let's come back to your grid item.tsx, and where we have the touchable opacity, we're going to give a on press to it. So we're going to say on press is going to be equals to on press. Save. There you go, we're coming correctly to the collage screen. That is this one. Let's get started with the design of this. So this is going to look something like this as we saw earlier. So let's get started with the design of your collage screen. So basically at the starting point, let's get some required things, that is like navigation and route. So I'm going to say const navigation is going to be equals to use navigation. Then const route is going to be equals to use route. Okay. And we also need to get a selected grid, that is in the previous screen. I'm going to say const selected grid is going to be equals to root dot params as I'm going to say selected grid of type grid layout. Import that from the types. So here we need access to the layout ref as well. So I'm going to say const layout ref is going to be equals to use ref. Import that, and initially it would be pointing to null. Okay, so let's also initialize some other states such as model visible and all those things. So I'm going to say const model visible comma set model visible is going to be equals to use state, and initially it's going to be false. Apart from that, your preview image, I'm going to say const preview image comma set preview image is going to be equals to use state, which is going to be of type string or null. Okay, apart from preview image, we're going to have the selected ratio. So I'm going to say const. So this is basically for the design that is going to come up once you choose an image. Basically you can free crop it or choose any particular aspect ratio and then crop your particular image. So here I'm going to say const selected ratio comma set selected ratio. It's going to be equals to use state of type number. Okay, the next one is going to be a crop position. I'm going to say const crop position comma set crop position is going to be equals to use state top of 0, bottom of 0, left of 0 as well as a right of 0. The next one is going to be for your is downloading. I'm going to say const is downloading comma set is downloading is going to be equals to a use state initially false. So yeah, these are required basic states for implementation of the collage screen. Let's get started with your design, that is basically your return block. Okay, so we're going to have a safe area view. So I'm going to initialize that. So safe area view, let's import that from React Native. Okay, this part is done. So we're gonna have a view being initialized. So view, this view in turn is gonna have a touchable opacity. I'm gonna say touchable opacity. Within that, we're gonna have your iron icons being shown. Let's get that from any of the other screen. So here I'm gonna paste it. So the name is going to be equals to chevron back. Save. And the color is going to be equals to 000. As you can see, we're able to see that onto the screen. Below this, we're going to have another view. So this is going to have the remaining icons. So paste this a couple of times. The first one is going to be arrow undo outline. And this is basically going to be arrow redo outline. And this is going to be your download outline. Let's make the change for this as well. Save. Yeah, we do have all of the required things, which is good. So style is going to be equals to your styles dot your container. This is going to be styles dot top bar. So style is going to be equals to styles dot top bar. So for this particular view, I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot top bar actions. And this is going to say top bar icon. Here style is going to be equals to styles dot top bar actions. Okay, so yeah, this part is done. I mean, not actions, my bad. It should be top bar icon. So I'm going to say top bar icon. So just copy this down a couple of times for each of the touchable opacity. Let's first of all try to finish styling this. So let's start off with the container part. Here I'm going to say container, initially a flex of 1 and then a BG color of F5. Save. As you can see, that got applied. Next is for the top bar. This in turn is going to have a flex direction of row and then align items of center, as well as your justify content of space between, padding horizontal of let's say 16, padding vertical of 10. Okay, then we're going to give it background color of white, then a border bottom width of 1, and then a border bottom color of E0, E0, E0. Save. As you can see, that's looking okay. Furthermore, the next one is for the top bar action. So top bar actions, flex direction of row. Save. Let's try to give a gap as well if it's possible, gap of 10. Yeah, that's looking fine. The next one is for the top bar icon. We could actually skip this because we've already given the gap. Let's remove that, not required for now. Let's move on to the next step, that is to show the shape that is currently selected. So for that, below the view, I'm going to render a view which is going to show a function that is known as render layout. So here let's pass on the style, that is going to be equals to your styles dot, so styles dot your canvas area, and if is downloading is true, then I'm going to say styles dot no background. Let's define the function that is render layout. So here at the top itself, I'm going to say const render layout is going to be equals to a normal arrow function. Here I'm going to first of all define my layout style. So I'm going to say const layout style is going to be equals to an object starting off from the first one, that is your styles dot layout container. Okay, then these are the remaining conditions, that is if is downloading is true, and it's going to be equals to styles dot no border. I think we need to add this inside of a parenthesis. Okay, just like this. Similarly, the next one, if your selected grid dot your shape is going to be equals to heart, or your selected grid dot shape is going to be equals to your clover. So then in that case, I'm going to add a question mark. So your width is basically going to be your canvas size. So I'm going to say canvas underscore size multiplied by 0.7. Height is going to be equals to, I've already calculated this, so I'm just adding in the required values. You can make sure to note this down. So I'm going to say canvas underscore size multiplied by 0.7 again. Let's define it at the top, that is the width as well as the canvas size. So I'm going to say const width is going to be equals to, let's write it like this, const width is going to have your screen width comma height, that is going to be your screen height, is going to be equals to your dimensions dot get of your window. Okay, so here I'm going to say const canvas size is going to be equals to screen width minus 40. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's try to save the file. Yeah, so there is error because we haven't completed this one. So basically after this we need to continue writing the conditions for the layout part. So this condition is done. So the next one is we're going to check the condition, that is if your selected grid dot your shape is equals to a circle, then question mark, then your width is going to be equals to canvas size multiplied by 0.2 multiplied by your selected grid or dot layout of 0 dot length plus 20, okay, multiplied by your selected grid dot length of 0, I mean not dot length, dot layout of 0 dot length minus 1, and your height is going to be equals to canvas size multiplied by 0.2. Okay, so the final one is going to be there for your hexagon. I'm just going to add the style. You can look at it directly once. So let's format once. Basically this is your code for the final one, that is your hexagon. You can take a look at it. So the width is going to be equals to canvas size multiplied by 0.25 multiplied by your selected grid dot layout of 0 dot length plus 10 multiplied by this value, and your height is going to be equals to canvas size multiplied by 0.28. So here we're going to switch again based on the shape, and for each of them we're going to show the design. So right after this we are going to say switch. This is going to say selected grid dot shape. So the first is going to be case heart. So here we're going to say return a view Within this view, we're going to have your touchable opacity. So I'm going to say touchable opacity. Within that, we're going to have your images. I'm going to say images. Let's initialize it like this. So first of all, we need to initialize the image. Let's do that at the top. So before that, I'm going to initialize the style for the total containers that is going to be shown for the layout. So I'm going to say const total containers is going to be equals to selected grid dot layout, apply the flat method in JavaScript, dot apply the filter method. So taking all of the three things, and over here we're going to say a dot index of your first value should be equals to the index dot length. Okay, let's format once. Here we are going to say const images comma set images is going to be equals to use state. It's going to be initially string or a null. We're going to say array of your total containers dot fill of your null initially. Okay, so here within the return block, we're going to say images of 0 if it is present question mark, then we're going to show the image tag, else we're going to show the iron icons with the add button, as you can see over here. So if the image is added, we're going to show the image, else it's going to be the plus icon that's going to be shown. So I'm going to say iron icons over here. The name is going to be equals to add, size is going to be equals to 40, color is going to be equals to 888. Import image from React Native. This in turn is going to take in the source as well as the URI. So here we're going to say if images of 0. Yeah, so this is basically the data for this one, that is the link to show. Apart from that, we're going to say the style. So style is going to be equals to an array of styles. So initially styles.image. Okay, and it's going to be styles.heartshape. Then it's going to be equals to if is downloading is true, and your border width is going to be equals to 0. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's try to format once. So for the view, it's going to have the style being passed. So I'm going to say style is going to be equals to your layout style. That is the one we defined at the top. Okay, your reference should be provided. That's going to be layout ref. Collapsible is going to be equals to false. For the touchable opacity, we're going to say style. So basically it's going to be equals to an array of styles. So styles dot your heart shape, comma if is downloading is true, and we're going to have a different style. That's going to be styles dot no border. Save. Okay, so this part is done. So similarly, we're going to do the same thing for circle, clover, hexagon. Okay, let's do that. Let's just copy down the case for the heart. Let's format once. This is going to be for your circle. So I'm going to say circle over here. So this is going to remain as is, that is layout style, layout ref as well as collapsible is going to be false. For this, key is going to be equals to j. I think we forgot to add that. So here the condition is going to remain different, because for the first one is going to remain only one thing. Here we're going to actually map over the selected grid. That is for the circles part. That's going to happen below this. Here we're going to say if your selected grid, or let's come back to the previous state and let's write it over here. If you selected grid layout and then go to the first part, map over it for every value as well as your index. Here we're going to show your touchable opacity. Initialize this. So basically your key is going to be equals to j. Okay, style is going to be equals to styles dot circle shape, and if is downloading is true is going to be equals to styles dot no border. Apart from this is going to have your margin horizontal of 10 as well. So here I'm going to say margin horizontal of 10, and here we're going to say if images of that particular index j is present, then show the image. URI is going to change images of j again. Styles dot image, that's going to remain as is. This is going to change styles dot circle shape, and again if it's downloading, your border width is going to remain 0. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Your icons is going to remain same itself, so save. Okay, unexpected token on line number 92. Okay, I think I forgot to add the comma over here. Save. Yeah, that was the issue. Let's move on to the next part, that is your case clover. So just copy this down one more time. And I'm going to paste it over here. This is going to say clover. Again, it's going to remain, pretty simple, but we're not going to have this condition being shown. Let's remove that. Directly touchable opacity. If your images of 0 is present, then show the image. Your source is going to be equals to images of 0 as shown in the first case. Okay, your style is going to be equals to styles dot image styles dot clover shape. We need to add that over here. Okay, if is downloading is true, again border width is going to be set to 0. This is going to remain as is for the icons, that is the +1. Let's format. The final one is going to be for your hexagon and the default stylings. So I'm just going to add in the code for the case hexagon as well as the default styling. You can take a look at it. So this is for your hexagon. So we're going to first of all check if the selected grids dot your columns equals to 1. Then show the designs. If it is not equals to 1, we're going to map over it, and then based on that we're going to show the design. Okay, for now let's remove the on press. We're going to define that in just a bit, and you can take a look at the styles as well. Let's format once, save. You can start looking through the styles for the hexagon. I'm going to scroll once more. And this is your default styling if at all it doesn't match any of those cases. So let's start defining all of the required designs. So because there are a lot of things to be done, starting off from your let's say canvas area. That is the design for your render layout. This one, let's start off over here. So I'm going to say canvas area. It's going to have a flex of 1, then justify content of center. Apart from that, align items of center as well. Then it's going to have a padding of let's say 20 and a BG color of F5, F5, and then F5. Save. Apart from your canvas area, the next one is for your no background. So I'm going to say no background over here. It's going to have a background color of basically transparent, and it's going to have let's say padding of 0. Apart from this, the next one is for your layout container. So I'm going to say layout container. Here we're going to have width, that's going to be your canvas size, and your height is going to be your canvas size as well. Justify content is going to be center. Align items also is going to be of center. Border width of 2. and your border color is going to be this color code, that is 1E9. Zero FF. Furthermore, border style, that is going to be dashed. Then we're going to give border radius, so I'm going to say border radius of 4 and a BG color of transparent. Save. There you go. Just like that, we are able to see our first design being shown, because this is the one we had pressed on. Let's give this another try. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to choose this one. Now this canvas should be shown basically. Okay, this would show once we design the remaining parts. As you can see, we're able to see 2+ buttons onto the screen, which is good. So let's come back to the previous state, that is the first button, the first grid. So layout container is done. The next one is for the no border. So I'm going to say no border. This is going to have a border width of 0, and then it's going to have a border color of transparent. Save. So apart from that, we're going to have your grid row being styled. I'm going to say grid row. It's going to have a flex of 1 and then a BG color of white. Sorry, not BG color, a flex direction of row. Sorry, so flex of row. The next one is for your grid cell. I'm going to say grid cell. This in turn is going to have a flex of 1 again, a border width of 2. Then we're going to have a border color as well. It's going to be same thing. Then justify content of center as well as align items of center. As you can see, it came to the center part of the screen, which is looking fine. Apart from that, the next thing is for your image. I'm going to say image. If all it's selected, so width is going to be 100%. Height is going to be 100%. And your resize mode is going to be cover. Okay, that part is done. The next one is for your heart shape, circle shape, clover shape, as well as the hexagon shape. So I'm going to add in the code for all of these styles. You can take a look at it, starting off from your heart shape, circle shape. So you can pause for a second and then you can look under the styles. This is for the clover shape and this is for the hexagon shape. So save. So let's look into the remaining parts where we have missed the style. Okay, I think everything is done. So one step that is not working as expected is basically it is not centered, that is towards the screen. So let's look into that, where we have gone wrong, because it should be centered towards the center part of the screen. So for the canvas area, we have given flex of 1, then justify center, align to center as well, but it is still not centrally aligned. So let's say BG color. Okay, my bad, it's already there, sorry. Okay, so for some reason we're not able to see that onto the screen. Let's remove this one, save. Okay, my bad, I think there is a mistake over here. So this should be in the form of array, not within parentheses. Save. So there you go, that's looking fine. So we're able to see that onto the screen. So now let's give it a flex of 1 over here. So there you go, just like that, it got centered to the screen. So one mistake I was doing was that I had added the parentheses instead of the brackets for the styling part. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we have designed all of the things. So let's include the navigation. It's already there. So once you press on the back icon, you should be able to navigate back. So over here, I'm just gonna say on press, take in a function, and here we're just gonna say navigation dot go back. Save. So let's say I'm going to try this one. So 4 boxes should come up. As you can see, just like that, boom, it's working absolutely fine. So we should be able to select 4 images and then we should be able to make a collage out of it, right? This step is basically done. So now the next step is, once they press on any kind of container, let's say this one, we need to show the image picker. We need to show the image. Once the image is shown, we need to show this particular model where the image can be cropped or based on different kinds of aspect ratios. they can be converted. And once that is done, based on whatever container you click the image on, it should be filled over there. Okay, that's what we're going to implement now. So first of all, let's install a dependency for the image part. So for that, we're going to make use of, I guess, Expo image picker as well as the Expo media library. So let's basically head over to Chrome and then search for Expo image picker. So I'm going to say Expo image picker, and then let's also search for your Expo media library. Okay, so the first one, even over here, the first link, let's install this with the help of Expo itself. Copy that code and then paste it over here. So yeah, apart from that, let's also install this one, Expo media library, and then enter. So we're also going to make use of something known as React Native View Short. So let's install that. I'm going to say yarn add React Native View Short. Enter. So yeah, this particular part is done. So basically, once you press on your plus icon, we need to be implementing the pick image functionality. So let's basically implement the function for that. So let's come down to the touchable opacity, that is at this particular point. That is where we have the layout style, not this part. Yeah, so basically for each of them, we are going to say on press, it's going to take in a function, and we're going to say pick image of 0. Okay, I think it's already there, my bad. Okay, even for this it's there. Okay, even for this also is already added. Okay, so even for this is already added. Same thing over here as well. We just need to define the function, that is pick image. As you can see, it is added. So based on how many our number of shapes are there, we are going to pass that as the parameter over here. Okay, so let's define the function, that is pick image, that is going to take in your container index basically. So here I'm going to say const pick image, it's going to be equals to async function. This in turn is going to take in your container index, that is going to be of type number. Here I'm going to say const permission result. So I'm going to say permission result is going to be equals to await image picker dot request media library permissions async. So before I add on that, I'm going to just import the required things onto the top, just like this. You can make sure to copy this down. So this is going to be equals to your image picker dot request media library permissions async, and that's pretty much it. That's the function. Here we're going to say if there is no permissions given, I'm going to say if not of permission result dot granted. So basically in this case, I'm going to say alert dot your alert, we're going to say permission denied, and here we're going to say permission to access gallery is required. Permission to access gallery is required. Okay, that's it, and then directly return from the function. If at all we do have the access, then access the result, that is getting the image. So const result is going to be equals to await image picker dot we have launch image library async. So we're going to pass in your media types, that is going to be equals to your image picker dot your media type options dot images. Okay, and we're going to say allows editing is going to be equals to false, quality is going to be equals to 1. Once that is done, we are going to say first of all check the condition, that is if at all not of result dot cancelled. Then in this case I'm going to say set your preview image. We have already defined the state for this initially, that's going to be equals to result dot assets of your 0 dot your URI. Okay, and I'm going to say set selected container index to be of your container index, that's going to come from your parameter. We need to define that, and I'm going to say set model visible to be of true. So let's define that selected container index. It's not yet added, so I'm going to say const selected container index comma set selected container index is going to be equals to use state, okay, of number or null, and this also is going to be pointing to be null. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the opening of a image. That is once you press on a plus icon. Let's try to save the file. So yeah, once you press on this, we should be able to choose an image, and let's actually give that a try. Let's press on plus. So there you go. Experience needs permission. So you've already granted permission to another Expo experience. So let's press on allow over here. So there you go. Just like that, we're able to see the image picker being opening up. So as you can see, we have all of the photos, collections. Okay. So based on this, we could actually choose the image. So this part is working absolutely fine, which is good. Let's cancel it for now. So now the next step is we are gonna, design the model part. So as we saw in the demo part of the video or in the PDF, that is a screenshot, we had different kinds of, aspect ratios, and based on that we could actually do free crop, or based on the ratios given we could convert the images. So I'm going to include that over here at the top. That is all of my aspect ratios. I'm going to say const aspect underscore ratios is going to be equals to an array of objects. Name is going to be free crop, and your icon is going to be equals to crop outline. Your ratio is going to be equals to null. So similarly, now I'm going to add it for the remaining things. So I can basically make note of this. So we have free crop 1:1, 4:5, 3:4, 9:16, 16:9, and then these two values. And these are the basic given ratios. So based on this, we're going to convert the image. Let's format once, and then let's try to save. So now let's come down to the view and design your image part, not the image part, the model part. So right below your view, I am going to say model. So let's import that from React Native, and here I'm going to have a view. Within that, two more views, and over here, first of all, we're going to check if at all the preview image is selected. So this would be present once you choose an image from the image picker, and we're going to render a view. So within this view, okay, so within this view, we're going to have basically another view. So here I'm going to say another view. So this in turn is going to have your image. I think image is already imported, so it's going to take in your source, which in turn is going to take in your URI. That is going to be equals to your preview image itself. So I'm going to say preview image, pass on the style to this. So style is going to be equals to styles dot preview image. So preview image. Okay, then we're going to say if your selected ratio is not equals to null, question mark. In that case, your aspect ratio is going to be equals to your selected ratio. Else your width is going to be equals to 100%, and even your height also is going to be equals to 100%. These are the only changes. Let's format, and let's try to save the file. Reload. For some reason it went blank. Okay, that's weird. Let's remove the model once. Okay, so probably let's pass in the visible state. That is going to be equals to is visible. I mean, not is visible, model visible. And animation type is going to be equals to slide, and it's going to be transparent. Save. Okay, that's looking fine. So now after your image, we're going to first of all check below the view, that is if at all your selected ratio is equals to null or not. So if your selected ratio is equals to null, and here we're going to make this for fragment, and we're going to initialize the view. Within that, we're going to have a self enclosing view. So style is going to be equals to your styles dot handle line. Below this, we're going to have again two views, three views basically. So this in turn is going to have different kinds of basically panhandlers as well as the styles being given. So let's start off from this one. So style is going to be equals to styles dot crop handle. So it's basically going to have array of styles. Let's pass in that. So for crop handle, it's going to have styles dot your top handle. So this is going to have your top pan responder. We're going to define that in just a bit. Let's remove that for now. So yeah, copy this down, and we're going to paste it for the remaining ones over here, as well as over here. So it's going to be crop handle, and this is going to be bottom handle. This is going to be your left handle. This is going to be your right handle, and crop handle is going to remain for each of them. Let's try to save the file. So yeah, right below your view, that is this one, we're going to have your flat list, and we're going to show all of your aspect ratios that are going to be displayed over here. Initialize your flat list. So take in the data. So your data is going to be equals to your aspect ratios. Okay, and it's going to be horizontal, and we're going to pass in your render item. That is going to be equals to render aspect ratio item. So I'm going to say render aspect ratio item. Furthermore, your key extractor. So this in turn is going to take in your item, and it's going to be equals to item dot name. I'm also going to pass in show horizontal scroll indicator and set it to be false for now. Apart from that, content container style, that is going to be equals to styles dot your ratio list. Okay, now we need to define the function that is render aspect ratio item. Let's pass on the style for this before that. So it's going to be styles dot your ratios container or ratio container. Let's go on to the top and then define the render aspect ratio item. So let's say over here, I'm going to say const render aspect ratio item is going to be equals to, this in turn is going to take in your item, and over here item is going to be of this particular format, that is name string icon string, ratio also your string, I mean not a string, this is going to be basically a number or a null value. Okay, so here we're going to return a touchable opacity. Let's initially format once. So yeah, within the touchable opacity, we're going to have your iron icons as well as the text being shown. Let's get in the iron icons from any of the part, this one. So the name is going to be equals to your item dot icon. Let's add in that item dot your icon. Size is going to remain 24. Your color is going to change. Let's add in the condition. So if your selected ratio is going to be equals to your item dot your ratio, or if your item dot name is equals to a free crop, and your selected ratio is equals to null. So then in this case, it's going to be equals to this color code, that is the orange shade of color that we are using in the app. That's going to be equals to FF 5A and then 5F. Else it's going to be 888. Format once. Below your iron icons, we're going to have the next one, that is basically your text. So this is going to show your item dot name. Okay, so yeah, here it's going to have an array of styles. So your style is going to be equals to styles dot label. Okay, and again we're going to have in the same condition, that is if your selected ratio is going to be equals to item dot ratio, or this condition is true, it's going to have this color code, else it's going to have your other code. Okay, we're not going to give the color code over here, we're going to give the style basically. So let's just add in this piece of code. So if selected ratio is going to be equals to item dot ratio, or if your item dot name is equals to free crop, and if your selected ratio is equals to null, then here it's going to be equals to styles dot selected ratio label. So selected ratio label, else it's going to be a empty object. So that's pretty much it. So let's look into the design of all of this, that is basically the styling part. So before that, let's actually give the style to your model, that is where we are rendering all of these details. So let's come back to the point where we have the model. So starting off from the view, I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot model container. This is going to say inner view, style is going to be equals to your styles dot model content. This is going to say style equals to preview container. So styles dot your preview container. Okay, apart from that, this is going to be your image wrapper. So I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot this is basically going to have an array of styles, so let's write it like this. So styles dot image wrapper. Okay, and we're going to give if your selected ratio is not equals to null, and your aspect ratio is going to be equals to your selected ratio. And for the inner view, which is going to contain your image, for that I'm going to pass on the style now, so you can make a note of it. Okay, so it's going to be basically a crop container, and if at all the selected ratio is equals to null, we're going to make this calculation, then enter it over here. So yeah, that's it. So now as I was telling earlier, we need to define basically the top pan responder, your bottom pan responder, and the left pan responder. Let's do that over here. So we could do it over here right below your return block, or at the top of the render layout. So here I'm going to say const top pan responder is going to be equals to create pan responder of top. Similarly, const bottom pan responder is going to be equals to create pan responder of your bottom. Similarly, I'm going to add it for two more things, that is left and right. So this is going to be equals to your left pan responder and then right pan responder. So here I'm going to say right pan responder. So this is going to be equals to create pan responder of top bottom. This is going to be left and right. So left as well as your right. So let's try to define your function, that is create pan responder over here. So I'm going to say const create pan responder is going to be equals to normal arrow function, which in turn is going to take in the edge. That can be top, bottom, left, or right. Okay, this in turn is going to say pan responder dot create. So here basically we're going to make use of the on start should set pan responder. First of all, we need to import pan responder from React Native. Import that. So here we're going to say on start should set pan responder. We're going to set it to be true, comma. We're going to say on pan responder move. So on pan responder move, we are gonna take in basically the gesture state. So I'm gonna say gesture state. Here I'm gonna say set your crop position. I think it's already defined. That is for the state. Access in your previous value. And over here I'm gonna calculate my max crop. I'm gonna say const max crop is gonna be equals to, if your edge is gonna be equals to top, or if your edge is gonna be equals to bottom question mark. If this is the case, then it's gonna be equals to your screen height multiplied by 0.7 minus 150 multiplied by 0.4, else it's going to be equals to your screen width minus 80 multiplied by 0.4. Let's format once. Okay, so basically after that we're gonna say your min crop. I'm gonna say min crop is gonna be set to be 0 initially, and we're gonna say let your new value is gonna be equals to previous of your edge, whatever was chosen, plus your edge if it's equals to top, or your edge equals to left, then it's going to be equals to minus gesture state dot your dy, else it's going to be equals to gesture state dot dy. Okay, you can make a note of this. So next we're going to check if your edge equals to left, or edge equals to right. So then in that case we're going to say new value is going to be equals to your previous of edge plus edge. If it's equals to left, then it's going to be minus gesture state dot dx, else is going to be equals to gesture state dot dx. This is just done for the cropping part. Okay, so you can basically have a look at this. You can pretty much feel free to enter these details. That is, after entering this one, you need to pass in the new value that's going to be equals to your math dot max of your min crop, comma your math dot min of your new value, comma max crop. After that, these are basically the conditions for your top, bottom, left and right. So you can make note of all of this. So this is basically for the cropping part of the image. So yeah, once this is done, we can start styling out your model container. Let's go on to the bottommost part. So here we're going to say model container. So here basically we're going to say give it a flex of 1 and then a bg color of this color code, that is RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0.5. Apart from that, we're going to give justify content of flex end. Then we're going to target your model content. I'm going to say model content. So bg of white, I'm going to say background color white, border top left radius of 20, then border top right radius of 20 as well. Height is going to be equals to your screen height multiplied by 0.7. Apart from that, some internal spacing, padding of 20, flex direction is going to be equals to column. So apart from model content, we're going to start styling out your preview container. So I'm going to say preview container. This is basically going to have a flex of 1 and then justify content of center as well as a align items of center. So I'm going to say align items of center. Apart from preview container, we're going to have your image wrapper. For this, we're going to have a width that's going to be equals to your screen width minus 80. Then we're going to have your height that is going to be equals to your screen height multiplied by 0.7 minus 150 into 0.8. Okay, apart from this, bg color of f0, f0, f0. So I'm going to say bg color f0, 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 justify content of center. Okay, align items of center as well. Apart from that, position is going to be relative, and overflow is going to be equals to hidden. Okay, that part is done. Then we're going to target your crop container, width of 100% as well as height of 100%. Overflow is going to be hidden again, so overflow hidden. Then your position is going to be relative. So yeah, apart from your crop container, we're going to have your preview image being styled. So preview image, so this in turn is going to have width of 100%, then a height of 100%. So height is going to be 100%. Then your resize mode is going to be cover. Okay, so once it's done, we're going to have your crop handle being styled. So crop handle, position is going to be absolute basically, and your justify count is going to be center, and your align items is going to be equals to center. Z index is going to be 10, so Z index 10, and it's going to be a BG color, that is in the form of RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0.2. Okay, so apart from crop handler, we're going to have your top handle, bottom handle, left handle, as well as the right handle. So I'm just going to add in the remaining styles, that is basically your top handle, bottom handle, you can have a look at it, left handle, right handle, handle line, the ratio container, the ratio list. These are the stylings: padding horizontal of 10 and then padding vertical of 10. This is the ratio item, this for the selected ratio item, this for the ratio label. After that we do have it for your selected ratio label. So selected ratio label, this is going to be color of FF5A, FF5A and then 5F. Then I'm going to give it a font weight of bold. Okay, so this part is done. So let's check which are the remaining ones which are not yet targeted. Yeah, I think label is not yet styled. Okay, so my bad, I think there is a spelling mistake over here. This should be ratio label. Save. So yeah, I think everything is basically styled out. And so I think one thing I missed over here is to pass in the pan responders dot your pan handlers for each of them. Let's try to save the file. Let's give this a try. Basically, I'm going to press on plus, and I'm going to choose a particular image. Once that is chosen, this was already working fine, so we are going to set the model visible to be true. So once that is true, basically your this design should open up because this becomes true. Let's say this one. So there you go, just like that we're able to see the image being shown, and we're able to see your free crop, all these details, but it is not correctly styled, I guess. So we need to look into that. So let's look into that basically. Okay, so I found out the issue. So basically over here I forgot to add the style for the touchable opacity. So that's the reason it is not showing correctly. So just make sure to add it over here. Save. As you can see, now everything is clear. We are able to see the design being shown correctly. We need to set up the on press as well. I'm going to say on press. So this in turn is going to take in a function, and over here we're going to say if your item dot name is going to be equals to free crop, then I'm going to say set selected ratio to be of null. Okay, else you're going to say set selected ratio to be of your item dot ratio, and I'm going to say set your crop position to be of top is going to be 0, bottom left right is going to be 0. Save. So there you go, just like that everything is working absolutely fine. 3:4, 9:16, 16:9, 3:2, and this is your free crop. Okay, so you can basically design it just like this. So this part is done. So basically we need to add that button. So the design is added, the style is not yet given. So here I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles dot your confirm button. Okay, and this is going to remain as is. So we're going to say on press is going to be equals to your apply image. Let me just add in the style for the confirm button. You can take a look at it. So over here I'm going to say confirm button, save. Apply image doesn't exist, so let's try to define the function that is apply image. So we could do that over here itself. I'm going to say const apply image is going to be equals to a normal arrow function, and here we're going to say if your preview image is present and your selected container index is not equals to null. We need to check these two conditions. Then I'm going to say const new images is going to be equals to whatever is there within of the images, get in that, and new images of your selected container index is going to be equals to your preview image. And I'm going to say set images to be of your new images and set model visible to be false. Furthermore, set preview image also to be null. So the user can select new one, and then set selected ratio to be also of null. Furthermore, set your crop position to be of 0 for everything. That is top 0, left also 0, right 0, as well as bottom also 0. Save. Let's give this a try. Plus, choose a photo. I'm going to leave it as is, that is in the free crop version, and then choose this. So there you go, just like that, it got added in the free crop version. So this part is completely done, right? So now let's try to implement the final functionality of this project, that is the handle download. So here I'm going to say const handle download is going to be equals to a async function. Here I'm going to say if images dot apply the sum method in JavaScript. For every image, it should not be equals to null. You're going to first of all check if it is equals to null. If that's the case, then I'm going to say alert dot alert incomplete collage. Okay, then I'm going to say please add images to all containers before downloading. So I'm going to say please add images to all containers before downloading, and then we're going to return from the function. Okay, so here once that is done, first of all we're going to check the permission result. I'm going to say const permission result is going to be equals to await media library dot request permission async. Okay, so if not of permission result dot granted, then in this case I'm going to say alert dot alert permission is denied, and over here I'm going to say permission to access media library is required to save the collage. I'm going to say return. Okay, so after this I'm going to initialize my try and then catch block. So catch of error, I'm just going to give a console.log error message with that particular error, and finally I'm going to say set is downloading to be of false. So within the try block I'm going to say set is downloading to be true. Apart from that, I'm going to say await new promise taken the resolve. I'm going to set timeout, resolve it within 100 milliseconds. Okay, then I'm going to say if not of layout ref dot your current, then I'm going to say throw new error stating that the layout reference is not yet set. So So I'm going to say layout reference is not set. Apart from that, I'm going to say const URI is going to be equals to await capture ref of your layout ref. Your format is going to be equals to PNG and equality is going to be equals to 1. So I'm going to say quality is 1. Okay. Apart from that, I'm going to say await media library dot save to library async of your URI. That's it. I'm going to say alert dot your alert success. A collage has been saved to your gallery. That's pretty much it. Let's try to save the file. So yeah, this part is done. Let's actually give this a try. So I'm going to press on download. So basically this is not a collage. This is only a single image. We will try that as well. Let's press on download. So first of all, let's give that handle download to this one, to the icon. Basically at the top, which is present inside of your, return block, we're going to pass the on press to that. So let's scroll down a bit, and where we have the return block over here, I'm going to say on press, it's going to be equals to handle download. Okay, let's come back over here, save the file. Let's give this a try. Download. So there you go, success, collage is being saved to your gallery. Let's verify that. So we already do have the same image, but let's see if at all we are getting the correct collage being downloaded. Photos. So it's taking some time to open. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah, it opened, which is good. So there you go, this is the recent one, and we're able to see our photos. Okay, this is the one that got downloaded. That is today 1:56 p.m. The current time is 1:57. As you can see, it is downloaded properly and the quality is also looking good. Let's try to download a collage and see how exactly it's looking. I'm going to choose a two-way collage. Let's come back over here, and then this one, I'm going to choose two images. Let's say this one, I'm going to leave it as default. Add this one as well. Let's say the flower one, leave this as default, choose it, and then press on download. So there you go, success, collage has been saved to your gallery. Yeah, wrong spelling of that. Let's make the change, and then okay. Let's try to open it over here. Back. There you go, we do have our second image being shown. As you can see, this is our recent ones. Okay, so for some reason the music is playing. Let's mute it. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, this is your collage. This was the initial image that got downloaded. This is our collage image. As you can see, it's looking perfectly fine based on the design that we are giving. Okay, so yeah, we have completed designing the entire application. So basically you can try to initialize your own kind of backend, as well as try to initialize the user authentication, and you can actually store all of these collages in the home part as my works or something. So we have just designed a basic simple application to implement the collaging part, and you can also try implementing this kind of complex to implement in React Native, but you could try and explore on how exactly to do this. So yes, that's it about this particular video. If you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content. So let's see you in the next project, and then thank you for watching.